Hello everyone, it's Turin here, and today guys I'm here with another Total War Warhammer live battlecast. In this game we're going to play the Greenskins against the Beastmen. So we're actually going to go ahead and play an all Gobbo army, win or lose guys, it's going to be a good old time. So let's go ahead and get Skarsnik. He does have anti-large, which is pretty good against like Gorbals and some of the monstrous units that the Beastmen can bring to the table. Let's get the Prodder just for fun. We probably don't need the missile parry here, so I think we can cut that. Top of that, we do want a Goblin Great Shaman. Getting the Sneaky Stealing is really solid. So on top of that, do we want Sneaky Stab? And it's only single target, so we'll probably get Itchy Nuisance and just kind of strip him down and just go with the very cheap version. And on top of that, we'll probably get an Orc. No, we're doing all Gobbos, I forgot. So it does have to be a Goblin build, so we'll just get these for now. That should be totally fine. Okay, so on top of that, against the Beastmen, Night Goblins probably won't be bad. It depends. I mean, there's so much like variance in regards to what he could bring. So let's actually get a front line of just standard Night Goblins here. On top of that, we're going to get the 2 Regiments of Renown, which are very solid choices. We're also going to get some nasty Skulkers to do a little bit of flanking action. And just in case he doesn't bring Bestigors, I mean, we need some armor piercing. I mean, if we have to, these guys can start prison shanking the Gorbal. It's not going to be like an ideal situation, but it's going to have to work. So on top of that, let's go ahead and get the Arachnaut Queen. Let's get the Rusty Arrows and some Night Goblin Archers here. And man, we're actually reaching our financial cap here pretty quickly. And I don't know if we want to get any Goblin Wolf Riders or anything like that. We could get some like Squig Hoppers or something, right? Do we want to do that? Oh, man, we're running out of time, boys. So let's cut these and these. We'll get some Squig Hoppers here, get some Goblin Wolf Riders, and we probably just want to get some more like fodder for the back line. So, okay. So I don't really know how to feel about this army, but let's see if we can make it work. Oh my goodness, the Goblin Wolf Riders. So basically what we're going to try and do is just use the standard spear goblins. You know, even though they have spears, they don't actually have anti-large, which is interesting. So I guess that would be pretty strong to give like, although the spearmen have anti-large with the Empire and they only cost 300. So I don't know why the poor Gobbos can't have it. I guess they're using it in one hand. So I guess they don't have kind of the grip on that thing. Sorry, just taking a sip of my tea. It's pretty hot over here, guys, in Northern California. It's like a good like 90 degrees right now. Pretty brutal. All right, so we got the Gobbo Hordes. One thing I did forget is Doomdiver Catapults, but artillery pieces, generally speaking, aren't that great from my limited experience against the Beastmen. They're just so like mobile and quick, and usually don't get a ton of value, just from my experience. So, okay, so we're gonna get the Gobbo Horde, set them up in a big wide front line. The Rusty Arrows we're basically just gonna use to like try and shoot down the Gorbal. The one thing about Gobbos is they can actually be pretty darn competitive. I mean, not like top tier by any means, but they're just super micro intensive. So if you like slip up at all in your micro or like let your Lord or some of your like casters get caught out of position, it can just be just an absolute, just beat down. So, all right, so let's get the Gobbos over here and over here. We're going to kind of put the nasty Skulkers in the secondary line and just use them to see where he sends the armor. And do I want to do like a deep Vanguard with one of them? I feel like that would be pretty funny to do. So now the Beastmen are just so mobile. So we're actually going to use them in the back to kind of like tar pit any cav he sends around. On top of that, he's probably not going to have too many missile units. So we'll put the Spider right here. We'll go ahead and put the Squig Hoppers over here. So the Squig Hoppers, we're actually going to use them in the front line. We're going to use them kind of like melee troops there. So Goblin Wolf Riders, we're just going to use as like a distraction force. We're going to like just run them around the edges of the map. And hopefully my opponent will like, send a group of Centaurs to chase them. That's like the dream situation. So, okay, let's hotkey everything. And everything's good to go. Skarsnik's ready to party. He's all angry. And yeah, that should be good. So pretty fat Beastman army. Looks like he has a bunch of Minotaurs. Oh yes, Minotaurs versus the Goblins. I love it. This is going to be great. So, he might have been expecting like Black Orcs, but nobody expected the Gobbo Inquisition. So the Goblins are actually going to be really good against Minotaurs. Like they have light armor, and look at this. This is good. Yes, do it. Chase them. So we want the chase. That's like exactly what we want here. So we're just going to kind of advance on our opponent, get ready to party, just, start summoning some Spiderlings if he has any missiles, but I don't think he does. And who does he have? Hopefully he has Morgur. He actually has Malagor, the Dark Omen. So guys, it's going to be a good time. The Goblins are ready to go. We do have some wolves, not wolves, just Wolf Riders. Just having to outrun those hounds over there because the hounds will do pretty well if they have poison. So my opponent's detaching his forces, so we'll just run to the corner of the map to try and take those hounds out of the picture. Let's go ahead and send these guys over here. And where do we want to go with the Squig Hoppers? Like, yeah, we'll send the Squig Hoppers. I don't want to send them into spears. There's not too many like great choices here. So, okay, good. So I was a little concerned my opponent was going to disconnect there. So we'll go ahead and get everything kind of engaged in the front line. Let's get the nasty. Let's actually make sure these guys are fighting the Minotaurs, and the armor piercing can go on the Gorbal here. So for our missile line, we're going to go ahead and make sure they're focusing on Gorbal and get these Gobbos over here to intercept. And this guy can go ahead and start fighting against some of these Minotaurs as well. So we're going to keep these guys in auxiliary. We do have the Squig Hoppers here, so let's go ahead and like get ready to intercept the hounds. I think that's going to be one of our better bets. We'll bring these guys back over here. We'll bring these guys to kind of engage there to kind of tie them up. And good. So Skarsnik right now, we want to find some like, yeah, just get him on Minotaurs is honestly fine. So we don't have any like, you know, really powerful abilities at the moment, but let's go ahead and drop an Itchy Nuisance right here, and look at my goblins actually chasing his lord. That's so funny. Okay, so our goblin firing line, let's go ahead and start shooting at the Cygor here. Let's pull these guys back here, these guys here. Let's get these nasty skulkers over here to intercept, and we'll get the Squig Hoppers fighting those guys. So we need to go on Skarsnik, make sure we're using all of our different buffs, but my opponent's just you know, running rampant, and our front line obviously is going to collapse pretty hard here. So let's pull those Goblin Wolf Riders in to just help out wherever they can, and our missile line is going to be pretty important here. So let's just pull these guys back. And do we have like sneaky stabbing? I guess we can use it on Skarsnik. So yeah, the issue with Skarsnik is, you know, he's going to get isolated pretty easily here. So let's pull these guys in. The Arachnoid Queen taking quite a bit of damage. So let's go ahead and pop some Spiderlings, and then we're actually going to run this way and intercept with the nasty Skulkers right here to kind of buy them a little bit of time. So Skarsnik was able to get over here and isolate some of these guys. Let's get these missiles focusing here. Let's pull them over that which direction. Let's pop the slow here to get these Minotaurs kind of locked down a little bit, and we're doing okay. So we're able to kind of get the focus fire away from our Spider. Let's go ahead and pop the slow bomb here. Over here on the far side, we're able to do pretty well for ourselves actually, and let's get the flank here. And how are our Squig Hoppers doing? So they overchased. Big misplay on my part, but again, guys, nobody's perfect. We're trying our best here. So Skarsnik's fighting Minotaurs, which I actually like that that engagement quite a bit. So let's get these guys kind of shooting at these Minotaurs here, and we'll get these guys kind of repositioned like so. We do have another Itchy Nuisance, so we're going to drop this back in the main line. Let's get these Gobos pulling in here, and those ones are unfortunately pretty routed. So good. I think everything's going pretty well. A little ineffective with my missile fire, but it's tricky because there's so many like things moving around the map, so it's never going to be, you know, that straightforward. So let's get our Squig Hoppers in the front. We'll get these Night Goblins re-engaged, and they're actually trading like extremely efficiently against Minotaurs, because I think the build he was going for was like very what's it called, anti-Black Orc and like things like that. So, okay, let's actually reposition, get these Squig Hoppers in, and this firing line, we can start shooting at Gorbel here, and we do have some infantry kind of auxiliary troops here. So let's pull these missile troops back. Let's run the Spiderling away into some cover. Well, it's not a Spiderling, it's the Queen. So get in there, guys. Fight. What are you guys doing? Let's throw some Fanatics in there while we're at it. So we're going to throw those bad boys in. We do have a little nice Night Goblin flank going on. Skarsnik's in pretty good shape, so we're able to isolate the Gorbel with some of the Squig Hoppers, which is really solid, and Skarsnik should be able to go in there and just kind of finish them off. So let's also pop the Prodder here. Get these guys over here, kind of engaged on them, and use some Spiderlings to kind of tar pit this main fight. Good, so we have some Goblin Spears. Let's go ahead and get a big overhead view, see what we have coming back. That's something you always have to be on top of with the Goblins, because there's just constantly stuff retreating. So this Night Goblin Shaman, let's get him and Skarsnik over here to kind of finish off this damn Cygor, who's kind of melting a little bit. Gorbel's pretty much offline, so I think we can just pull these guys over here and help out there. Let's get these guys focusing here and get our infantry line kind of resecured, because we still do have a lot of troops fighting actually. And he's going after the Arachnoid Queen, who's just like knocking those guys back like pretty effectively actually. So we're gonna pull in these auxiliary troops, have them kind of come and cover this, because we still have 3 summons, so I want to like get as much value as possible out of that. So Skarsnik, we're going to pop the Wog. It's a little bit, you know, the timing might not be great, but I guess it was lower HP than I thought, so we probably should have waited there. So right now we're dragging some of his guys over here, and you know, this is a matchup I never thought I would like see in a regular like quick battle, Minotaurs versus Gobos, but it's making for a pretty good one. Gobo builds are always a pretty good time. So let's go ahead and engage up here. We'll get these missile troops kind of set up there, and let's get some more of these Night Goblins back in the front line. So we do have another Spider summon, so we're going to go ahead and drop it in the front line to just keep tar pitting those Minotaurs. And do we have, man, I've been really inefficient too with my Winds of Magic this game, but you know what? It's a-okay, boys. Skarsnik's running in. Over here is a little bit treading in dangerous waters, but I think we can go for it. The troops are pretty tattered over there. The leadership buff will be helpful as well. So missiles back online. We'll start shooting at these Minotaurs right here. Skarsnik and the boys are over there. Does my opponent have any stuff coming back? We do have some Goblin Wolf Riders. Let's just go chase down some. Oh, those guys. Yeah, they might come back. No, we'll get the spears over here. That should be fine. Okay, good. So our Goblin firing line is actually firing relatively unimpeded right now, which is great. We have this big old Spider coming in, and Skarsnik should be able to take out Malagor the Dark Omen. So definitely fun builds from both of us. Very cool seeing a Minotaur build on ladder. You don't see that terribly often, but again, ladder in this game, you know, people don't carry much credence with it. It's more of a fun time. So we're going to shoot some of these armor piercing, well, not armor piercing, but some of these vindictive glares. It's just a huge swing and a miss there, so a little bit unfortunate. But you know what, guys, I'm not going to complain. So looks like Malagor's in trouble. Some of these Spiderlings are going to swarm these guys. Let's get some Night Goblins engaged. Just pull everything we have in at this point, and I think that should be it. So well played to my opponent. Hopefully you guys enjoyed that Goblin versus Minotaur game. Maybe I'll make that like the title, like the Goblins versus Minotaurs. It definitely was like ridiculous. So this build, let me go ahead and take a look at what he might have been trying to do. So Black Orcs, these guys will do very well versus Black Orcs, but they'll suffer against Savage Orcs, they'll suffer against Biggins. So I don't know if they're like the most intuitive pick, but it was definitely fun. Like what could have happened is like he could have like hero sniped me pretty hard if I had like a Lord or a Orc War Boss. Like he could have just like straight up karate chopped me. But yeah, it was super fun. Well, you know, go well played to my opponent. I'm trying to let me read his name here. Incognito Raccoon, definitely a cool name. Look forward to seeing you guys again on ladder. And hey guys, let me know if you guys want to see more Gabo builds, and I'll definitely throw some in there. Thanks again for watching, guys, and have an excellent night.